Hello, and thank you for joining me for this week's anime discussion. The theme for this week is Showtime. And this time I'm going to do something a little bit differently. Usually I do a list of five of my favorite anime that go with the theme. But for this week, what I'm going to do is 5 times in anime that there was a performance that I like. Now these will be different type of performances, some betrayals, some actual performances, or that kind of thing. But let's get started. So number 5 is going to be Aizen's betrayal in Bleach, in the anime Bleach. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with Bleach, it follows the character Ichigo Kurosaki as he kind of interacts with the Shinigami, these death gods in the afterlife. And in Afterlife, there's this place called Soul Society, and it has, it has it has like 13 squads, and it has captains that oversee these squads, of death gods whose job is to guide souls or defeat hollows, which are, souls that have, been consumed by negative energy. So Aizen is the main antagonist of the story pretty much through most of it, through all of the show and through most of the manga, though we just don't know it. There is a moment where he reveals that he's been plotting for centuries to overthrow Soul Society and stand at the top of the world. And he was the glasses, nice guy, normal hair looking guy, he was just a normal, kind seeming person, and at one point he does get, impaled onto a wall with a sword, and you think he's dead, but then he shows up and it turns out he's the mastermind behind everything that happens and has happened. And then further in the story you find out that this has been going on for centuries. He has been playing this role for centuries. He's had other captains kicked out, banished. He's experimented on the souls of soul reapers and humans in order to create in order to become powerful enough to stand at the top of the world. He's just just completely remorseless and kind of evil, and just that performance, you've got to give it up for him. So that's number 5. Number 4, I'm gonna go with Death Parade, the character skating in Death Parade, Chiyuki. If we talked about Death Parade in one of the previous videos, and so people, they die, they go to this they don't know they're dead, they go to this bar in Afterlife and they play a game which they think is to decide which one of them gets to live again and the other one stays dead. It's not really the case. Anyway, there's a character that's been there since the beginning, Chiyuki. There's kind of been a mystery around why she's there, her memories. And there's a scene where, spoiler alert, later you find out that she was a figure skater that got injured and became depressed and couldn't skate anymore, and that led to her, taking her own life. And that's how she ends up where she is. But there's a scene towards the end of the anime where she's able to skate again, because this is, it's not her real body, this is in the afterlife, and so she has, a perfect body again, and she's able to skate one more time, and just that scene, the score of it, it was so, I want to say it was heart-wrenching, it was just, beautiful, it was, truly expressive. And that is number 4 on my list for the performances. Number 3, I'm gonna go with Boltakun from Full Metal Panic Kumofu. Now, for those who are not familiar with the Full Metal Panic franchise, it follows this girl, Kaname, who has this special ability that the military, that people want, and the military of Japan is protecting her, so they send a guy, Sergeant Sagara, to protect her. He is a person, he's her age, he's like school age, so he's going to school with her as a student, but he has been a soldier all of his life, and all he knows is combat warfare and espionage. And there, there's a serious series, but Fumofu is more of like the comedy relief series out of the different incarnations of it, that deal with just like the different hijinks and things that go on with him being a student that doesn't understand how to be a student. Like, there's one point where another girl at the school leaves a love letter in his locker, and so like he gets to school. Like in Japan, you come to school, you go to your locker, and he notices that there's something strange in there, so he blows it up in order to pre-detonate it, because he thinks it might be an explosive device or biohazardous material. So it's like, I'm gonna detonate it, and then he blows up this girl's love letter. Just the kind of thing that he does. But so Bonta-kun is a character at an amusement park, which he's protecting this girl Kaname. So she's on a date with somebody at this amusement park, and in order to surveil her, he takes up this costume, and he proceeds to also protect them from some bullies used in that costume. It was really funny. And then in another episode, he modifies it with like military technology into like kind of like a mini mobile suit robot that he wears. But all I could say is Fumofu. Like, but it's just, the funniest, cutest performance I've ever seen. So that is number 3 on my list for the 5. Number 2, I'm going to go with Raka no Yusha, which is like Braves of the Six Flowers. So Heroes of the Six Flowers, if is the like literal translation or something like that. Now, this anime came out a few years ago, but like it's action, but it's also mystery. So the story of it is, since the number 6 is in the title, there is a world where there's demon god, demon lord that's about to destroy the world or take over the world, and so the goddess of light chooses 6 heroes to to fight the demon god. So we have, the main character, Adlet, however you want to pronounce his name. He meets up with another brave, and they proceed, they're all trying to make their way to the dark territory or whatever, on the peninsula to defeat the demon king. And on the way, they stop at this barrier temple to, get something to help them in their fight, or whatever it is, the thing that the heroes always need. But they get there, they meet up with the other heroes, and there are 7 of them. And it's like, there's only supposed to be 6. What's going on? Somebody is not who they say they are. They get trapped in the temple by this barrier, and most of the, the episodes are with them trying to figure out who the traitor or who the false one among them is. Is the person malevolent? Do they really think that they're one of the 6 chosen ones, or are they pretending to be one so that they can take the others out? There is somebody that's been going around killing the Braves, and before this, and so it's like, what's going on? And the person that it turns out to be is one of the more innocent-looking characters. It's this princess, of why this is on my list for Showtime for the great performance is the performance that she pulls off for how they get trapped in the temple, because there's a specific ritual that you have to do with like breaking a tablet, chanting this thing, and chanting the spell and putting a drop of blood on an altar, which is what seals them in the temple, so that they can all be hopefully taken out one by one, which was the 7th person's objective. which, spoiler alert, it is the Princess Nachitanya. So if you haven't seen the series, just blah 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 blah, ignore what I said. But how she did it is, once they thought they were locked in the temple, which they weren't really yet, she's like, what? We're locked in here. She goes crazy. She breaks this title, like, seemingly in a fit, and screams out some nonsense and hurts herself accidentally, and so some blood gets on the altar, and that is how they got trapped, which, you know, like, when you look at it in retrospect, you're like, wow, that is... Now, when you think about it, that's pretty weird behavior. She's a warrior. She all of a sudden, for a minute, lost her composure in an insane way, and then went right back to normal and being calm and collected. And so it's like, but it's not something that is immediately like, oh, that's weird. It's like, you know, it's a stressful situation, but just, you know, you don't find this out until the very end, the very last episode, and so it's like that performance piece of her, like, oh no, we're trapped in here, what are we going to do? You know, she really sold it. You know, she sold me, because I didn't read up on the manga before I watched the anime, so I didn't know who the fake seventh person was until they revealed it in the anime. And then also, so by the end of the anime, she escapes, and then the show ends on the cliffhanger where the other 6 remaining ones get out of the temple, and yet another 7th hero shows up, and it's like, what is going on here? Anyway, so that was number 2. Number 1 for this list is going to be from an anime movie, Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. And it is Vegeta dancing. Now, for those of you not familiar with Dragon Ball Z, it's one of the, like, you know, it's like anime royalty. It's one of the first animes that was, if not the first one that was, like, majorly popular here in the US. It's been around since the 90s. It's still going strong. They're still, you know, making a show, Dragon Ball Super. Like, this is a series that has really been around for a while, and it's like royalty like the character of Vegeta is. So, to give you a little background about his character, he is very arrogant. When he first shows up in the show as an enemy, you know, he's an elite. He was from the Saiyan royal family before that race, before their planet was destroyed. And so he has always had this kind of superiority complex of, you know, I am an elite Saiyan warrior. I'm the prince of all Saiyans. But the character that makes him dance is, like, in a Battle of Gods, Beerus shows up. And the other characters don't know who Beerus is, and they're kind of, like, treating him nonchalantly. But Vegeta knows that Beerus is the god of destruction, which there's, you know, different universes in the Dragon Ball Z story universe. And each universe has a god of destruction who, you know, like, growth after destruction. Their job is to destroy things. So he, you know, annihilates planets and races left and right. And he comes to Earth. You know, in the story of the anime, the reason he comes to Earth is to look for Super Saiyan God. He had a premonition about having a fun fight with Saiyan anyway. So he comes to Earth looking for that person that doesn't yet exist. It's a premonition about the future. So Vegeta is trying to, like, keep him happy, and so at one point he does a little dance. And it's just this... It's just, like, hilarious and a little bit creepy, kind of, but more hilarious than anything, because it's just like a complete 360 from, like, the most serious character, the most arrogant, serious character. He's conquered worlds, exterminated races. He is, you know, always been like, I am the king, I am the prince, I am the elite. And he just does a complete 180, gets on stage and does the most ridiculous dance that he can to try and dance for this guy that he doesn't want to annihilate the planet that his family and friends live on, that makes it, like, a good thing. That makes it a, you know, good for you, being, you know, like the bigger person, willing to put down your ego to do it, but it may to protect those that you care about. But I mean, that doesn't make it any less hilarious. Anyway, so that was number one of my five of my favorite performances in anime. Stay tuned for this week's craft, which is this simple origami snake. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a letter-sized piece of paper. I'm using green because, you know, we're making a snake. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring the bottom edge up to be parallel with the side edge. Fold it here, crease it. And then we're going to take our scissors and cut off the excess paper. And what this is going to do is this is going to give us a square piece of paper. That is 8.5 by 8.5. Now you can use any square sized piece of paper, something bigger or something smaller. Alright, our next step is to fold over like this towards the middle. On both sides of the diamond. Get it as straight as possible. Don't worry about if you mess up. Like here, it looks like I've folded it a little too close. Let me fix that. And our next step will be to do the same thing to the other side of the diamond, folding that in. Alright, I'm going to straighten out my fold here. Hold up. And again, alright, our next step is to fold in the edge. Now we're not going to crease this, we're going to try and get it as straight as possible. Don't worry if it's not like a straight line, but make sure that these points meet in the middle here. As you can see on my side, I had to adjust the fold a little bit from where I folded it too far in. Don't be afraid to readjust as you go for this one. And then we're going to fold over again on this side and on the other side. And then we're going to fold the whole thing in half. I'm going to kind of straighten it and crease it. Alright. Now this is going to be the tail end here, so we're going to fold that in to be even more narrow. It's really wasn't too concerned about the straight fold on this side because it's just the tail here. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to fold up like this so that we create a crease right here. You see, and what we're going to do is we're going to push that crease inward here. Let me straighten this out. We're going to push that crease inward to make this type of fold. I'm folding the top half there a little bit. Let me keep that in folded. Alright. We fold along our crease like that, keeping the bottom half folded out, well, with a mountain curve and the other one with a valley curve, valley fold. I just say mountain fold, valley fold. Alright, then we're going to make another fold right here, and we're going to invert. So we have a mountain fold on the bottom, followed by the vertical valley fold, and at the top we'll have another mountain fold. We're going to fold in this peak here to create the head, and then we're going to fold the bottom out to create the jaws. Then we're going to fold in these two corners here to create the fangs. And ta-da, that's it. Easy origami snake. Curl it a little bit here. Thank you for joining us, and please let me know in the comments what your favorite anime scenes are. please visit us online at hcpl.net, as well as download the Overdrive or Libby app in order to check out our electronic materials, including ebooks and e-audiobooks. Also, please follow us on social media in order to keep updated on new content from the North Channel Branch Library and Harris County Public Library Systems. Thank you for watching.